AM 96.3 FM, The Source.
I love having people in the studio, Robin. It's always so much fun.
I know, it's grand.
Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nurseries, a nursery and garden shop, I guess, that you hear about all the time here on WOCA. Lori Williams is their spokesperson, and she's in the studio. Bob Wines is here, too. He doesn't like the microphone, I don't think. And so he's sitting in the corner. Mr. George is here. You've heard Mr. George before. He's with Mr. George Ministries, and we're meeting somebody new. Hal Nichols is a volunteer at Mr. George Ministries. So nice to meet you, Hal. Good morning, everybody. How you doing?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good. Lori, you got sunglasses on your head.
Do I need to take them off?
No, it's okay. I just thought it was a new look for you. Just a cool look.
Very cool look. I like it.
Yeah. So how you guys doing?
We're doing good.
Good.
Yeah. How's the ministry going?
So far, it's going pretty good. We thank God. Yes.
10 years ago, could you even imagine that you would have a ministry?
No, sir.
Yeah, I know. Your life is unbelievable.
Yes.
You've had so many miracles, right?
Yes.
How much of that do you say is because of faith? Just the believing in God, believing in yourself.
All of it.
Yeah.
To what I've been through and I am coming out of and going forward to, it's amazing. It's amazing.
It is something else. What is that clicking right here? Where's that coming from?
It's probably me. I was getting organized, so it's my
God gave us two ears so we can hear in stereo. But when you have mono headphones, even though you have two of them, you're like, where is everything coming from? Isn't that amazing, really, how God made it so you can hear what's behind you?
Yes.
Isn't that? I mean,
Yeah,
that
it
is
really
kind of
is.
cool.
Yeah.
You know when something's behind you.
Yes.
Sure do.
I guess because your ears, all that curly Q stuff, right?
That's right.
So, sorry. But I can't tell where that sound's coming. Oh, I think I see it. I think it's your wire there, Mr. George.
Oh, that's what it is. It's his wire.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There it is. So, Lori, you are one of the guardians of the apple tree seedlings. How's the apple tree
It's
seedlings?
doing wonderful.
Yeah.
It's not near as big as the big one, but it's bigger than the smaller ones.
That's
It's
got a
doing
year.
very good.
That's got a year on it.
Yes. Yeah, I'm watching it grow.
So tell me what we're doing. Are we? There's an event coming up, a giveaway and hot lunch program, right? A hygiene giveaway?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, we're planning on it for June 16th, which is not this coming Saturday, but the following Saturday.
Where are you going to do this?
It'll be downtown behind the courthouse.
Okay. Same place you've always done it.
Same place we've always done it.
Okay.
We'll be doing it from 10:30 till about 12 o'clock. We start setting up at 10, and then about 10:30 we start serving. And we do a hot lunch for them, which would be, we're going to do rotisserie chicken, and we're going to do rice with it this time.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll also have baked beans and some fruit, and then our hygiene kits that we give away, and bread and stuff. And
Do you know, the hardest thing for me to understand is this, and I have a perfect way to tell you this. Did you see the story this morning about the guy who almost jumped onto I-75?
yeah, I saw that the other
Okay.
day.
Did you guys hear the story? Okay, I'll tell you the story. How did you hear it?
I didn't hear it.
Well, the Ocala police were called. There was a guy on one of the overpasses over I-75 here in Ocala, and he was going to jump. Now, there's a big chain link fence, and he's on the other side of it.
Right.
So they stopped traffic, thank God, because if he had jumped onto a car, he would have killed himself and probably somebody else, or more than somebody else down on the ground, right?
Yep.
When the police started talking to him, one of the things he said was, I have nowhere to go, I have no job, and I have nothing to eat.
Yep.
Okay? And I tried to imagine, if you're in that situation, you really do just want to end it all.
Yeah.
You know, nothing. So when you feed them,
Yes.
I mean, that makes such a big difference.
Yes.
But how do you speak to that other part of them that goes beyond their belly? How do you get them to see that thing that Mr. George was talking about, that faith? How do you do that? That's hard to do,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard. And what I experienced that we've been doing this since November together, and we grown, and a lot of people, I've been reaching out to a lot of them, and they even come. And one of the gentlemen that he made big in the article that we had of
Right.
Ocala Star Banner.
Yeah.
He was one of the top guys that spoke his life and everything, and he's got a job because
Yeah.
he came to our nursery with another
With another gentleman to get some
that
plants
gave
and
him
stuff.
work. So we're seeing progress, you know. and people that we've been feeding and talked to and led them to some kind of area for help and all that, we've seen a couple of progress. So, to me, that's a touching moment, feeling that, at least somebody's trying to seek out and try to get somewhere again, get that.
So the food is metaphorical? Is that the word I'm looking for, Lori?
Right, yes.
As well as real.
As well as
real
real.
Food plus metaphorical food or
Right.
spiritual food, right?
Right.
Yes.
How did you get involved with this, Hal?
Oh boy, just by association. We're all friends. We're all called a little differently. We minister to different places and different groups here in Ocala, but some of those bleed over into joining forces and pulling together, which is what I have a heart for, and that's the homeless people that you're just describing. I was just thinking about a Bible verse where Jesus is speaking to a group of people, and he is finding fault with them, and he says, when I was hungry, you didn't feed me, and when I was in prison, you didn't visit me, and he was lifting up a principle that's very practical. Until you can reach somebody spiritually and help them with their thought processes and their ambitions in life and the way they see life, you have to do something more practical than that, and that's feed them and clothe them and give them some security of a place to stay, a roof over their head. And out of that issue, they'll listen to you and they'll open up and they'll begin to see life a little differently as you present it to them. But you first must practically help take care of them.
I worked at the Juvenile Detention Center for 7 years.
Right.
And there was like a flyer hanging up on some of the walls that there was a picture of a child, and it said, "God does not make junk." And I used to wonder how many people did that actually change. And I bet it changed a lot,
Yeah.
because as soon as you realize that, hey, I'm not a piece of junk.
Right.
As soon as you realize you're important,
Yes.
and I think what you do with this, just showing somebody that you care, is a way for somebody to kind of get a little bit of self-esteem back, huh?
Yeah, that they have value.
Right.
They're worth something, and
Yeah.
they're worth investing in, which is what we try to do by feeding them and giving them the packets of hygiene products, and of course we're there to pray with them and talk with them and counsel with them if that's what they want to do. But they have value, and when you tell someone that by the way you treat them, it really resonates within their hearts.
Why are there so many, when all of this help is out here, and you three are phenomenal with the Mr. George Ministries with this, why do you still see some of the people, the same people, standing on the corner on 60th Avenue and 200 asking for money every day?
In a way, they make it a lifestyle. And it's hard because you just like taking a horse to the water, you can't make them drink. So all we could do is just try to reach out to them and touch them somehow, that they could see that there is a faith. You could have hope and have faith. And it's like you said, I fell, but I had to stand tall. And then it was my decision which way I wanted to go. So I chose to take God's path, so they have to make that choice. So, we could always try to provide them with their needs and all that, but it's up to really just them to do what they have to do,
Did you see this guy in the news, the 30-year-old still living with his mom and dad? Did you see that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see? You saw his photo, right? Or video of him?
I did.
Okay, he was a healthy-looking guy,
Yeah.
a 30-year-old guy, a white guy. His hair was really long and had a big old beard, I think. And I thought, okay, clean yourself up, and you've got everything going for you.
Right.
So get out of the house and go get a job. And in his case, he was lucky. He had parents that, let him have a house.
Yeah.
And some of these people were talking about it. And there was a guy in the news the other day that was arrested, and he looked like nobody would ever hire him. So is that part of it too? Do you help them?
You have to have
understand
parents.
that human thing, I guess?
You could be homeless, but you don't have to look homeless, So a lot of them choose that or don't have no choice because they ain't got nowhere to go shower, they ain't got nothing to eat, nothing to change, clothes to change. So we try to provide that and give them some kind of source where they could go get that help. You know, because you have a lot of people that just, you know, every story is different. You have even millionaires that has fallen short and have been homeless, like the one from the Popchurch family. What's his name? Danny.
Oh, Danny Bonaducci.
Yeah, the same. You see, he had money and he fell short and he was homeless. Another basketball player. Oh yeah, the basketball player Latrell Sprewell. He invented the spinning wheels and he had millions and all that. He fell short. Now he's homeless. You know, there's stories that goes around, but it's, you know, we just gotta. What we need now is love, you know, people to care more, because look at the way we're living. Look at this world we're in now. You know, we're just lacking of love. All this is happening all over the world, all these tragedies, all, you know, so it's just, to me, one thing to lead to is to go, you know, search for God, seek God.
So I'm going to ask you to do something. Take me there. Take us by the way of just talking to that table where you're across and you're feeding them, and now I'm going to play the part of somebody a little bit. I'm going to say, well, thank you for the bowl of food. How do I get out of this circumstance? So somebody's ready to find out, to really understand, what do I need to do? I'm living under a bridge. Take me there. What do you say to me or to whoever it is?
Wow. You have anything that you could add on to that?
Well,
help me out.
Now that you've had something to eat and you're showing an interest in changing your circumstances, Mr. George can help you in terms of job applications. You know, there's the Salvation Army that you can find a place to stay periodically.
Yes.
But if you'll put your life in God's hands, He has the most wonderful way of opening things up for you, whether He puts it on the heart of a family to bring you in and give you a place to stay for a month, or however He does that. Trust the Lord. Come to Jesus. Repent of your sins. Ask His forgiveness and join His family. And then allow Him to open up for you your future, because He has a plan. And the only way to find His plan is to commit your life to Him and trust Him.
I love that. Yes. I love that. Yeah, and to use that in a practical way, you'd have to actually take steps.
Take steps, yes. Like, you know, like I did when I fell short the second time. And I had a family that took me in. That's a member of my church. That they my pastor too. They are assistant pastors, and they took me in. And they didn't know me from Adams. It's just that they saw something in me, and they saw the faith that I had, and the humbleness I had, and the love I had. So, you know, that grows in people. You know, that if they see that, they take that chance and risk to help give you that helping hand. And I was grateful that they did that for me, that led me to this. And then I'm like, Beth, if you're listening, I love you. But anyway, that's my sister, and she's my pastor. You know, and I call her my sister, that she does, and I seek to her and I cry to her for everything that I'm going through, and she guides me. And then it's good that I have Mr. Bob. He's another one that gives me and prays for me and provides me and shows me lots of ways. Miss Lori, Mr. Howe. There's a lot of people in the ministry that they all here for a purpose, and that we all doing the love of God, you know, to show people that there is hope out there.
How does Dr. WOCA figure in with Mr. George Ministries?
Yeah, he has helped us in the past in giving us toothbrushes and toothpaste. He's a dentist here in town, so he's helped us out quite a bit with the toothbrushes and toothpaste that we put in the hygiene kits. And Pasta Fare helps us. Pasta Fare is wonderful. We get the rotisserie chicken and the rice or the potatoes from them. They give us discounted prices on that and help us out quite a bit with that. So we appreciate them. And
you have Dr. Orta?
Yeah, Dr. Pedro Orta, and he has been with us a couple of times and actually been there and brought his chairs, and he does like massages and like chiropractic care for them. It was amazing when he came and he saw all the people that were there, and he went back and got his chairs and brought his chairs out there, and just he gave so many of them massages, and just it was amazing, the line of people that was wanting to, you know, for him to help them. So it was really, it was good.
And we have some customers that come in.
Yeah.
that they come in and they just, they're just overwhelmed with what we're doing because, and they want to come help, and
Yep,
they've been
and
coming
they've
to
been
help,
coming
and
to
they
help.
come and donate.
Yep.
So I want to thank all you listeners out there, everyone that's donated,
Yep.
that we've been successful with it,
Yep.
and they always come and they always seem to reach me at the right time. When we short of something, God always provides it, and it always makes it happen for
Yes.
that we could be complete to our goal.
And you still need donations.
Yes, we
a
always,
variety of
because
donations. What kind of items?
we'd like to keep the flow going. So every time we just reach out for about 150, close to 200 if we can.
Right.
And then we always seem to max it right there, and seems to work out. So I know as we go, because a lot of people that are homeless, they do come. But they pass through, so there's days that they're going to be some, not as many, and
Okay,
some that
right.
is,
So some who actually live here all the time, and others are just transient.
a lot of them is transiting around, yes, because they come to stay in the Salvation Army, because no other places but Gainesville, and I don't even know where else there's another shelter for men.
Yeah, and that's part of it too, right?
That's the big part,
Because when we hear all these stories about who's the bad guys in the world, it's usually the men.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's not true.
Right. No, well, it is true, right?
Some of them, some are women.
I think I understand it. I understand why a shelter would say no men. I understand it, and I'm a man.
And I'm grateful for what Salvation Army is doing right now. They're renovating their home, their facility, and to make it bigger, for they could have more room for men. And we're gonna miss Miss Alice, that she retired a couple of weeks ago. And I just hope that the next one that step up to her plate, that they have the same love and heart that she had, because she was awesome. She was a real Christian woman of God that really had the love for people. She had good, just like God. You got good side and bad side. That if you don't do your job, he ain't gonna move for you. You're gonna close your prayers.
Yeah.
So it's just like everything else. If you do right, you get help. If you seek to the right person and look for the right ones, and then your appearance, you cannot really look pitiful.
And what kind of clothing do you need that you're asking for people to donate?
A lot of like men's pants,
Men's
shirt,
pants and
because
shirts and
they're the one that
socks.
go out and look for work, and they
Right.
do work and they change. We know women the same thing. Whatever you donate, we'll just take, because there's
Children's
always
shirts.
I got
somebody
an
that's
old
being need.
kilt. It doesn't fit me anymore. Would you want that?
Mr. Weiss might want that. That'll be a nice addition to the nursery.
Can you imagine?
There you go.
This,
That'd be a big
either
kilt.
that or cover his Jaguar.
That would not be an attractive thing. So do you guys ever have like somebody come up to you and really in need, and then you talk to them, and after it's all over, you say, wow, where did that come from? Because something came out of you that surprised even yourself.
Yes.
Have you had that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah? And was it just God talking
Yes,
to you?
God talking.
Yeah.
Yes, God talking to you.
So when you collect the hygiene items, how do you dispense them?
Well, usually what we do is we either you bring them to the nursery, or Dr. Orta's office is where we collect them at. And then we get together before we're doing our feeding on Saturday, usually on Thursday, before we'll get a bunch of us together, and we will put them together in packages, and then we take them down there with us and give them out. And the hygiene kits, usually we'll serve like 120 to 150 people, so we're putting together, washcloths, shampoo, soap, toilet paper,
Comb,
combs,
nail
nail
clips.
clippers, Band-Aids. I mean, just little
Band-Aid,
things.
anything that
that we put all that into the
you might
hygiene
need.
kits that we give them.
Whatever happened, and I don't mean to throw you a curve here, but I was in the news, and I can't remember the outcome. They were going to build a pavilion or something over near Interfaith.
Yeah.
Is that going to happen?
No.
Oh, that didn't
I
go
got
through?
word about, I've been getting word about it, and they said they just got a hold on it, so we don't know what's really going to happen.
See, what I liked about that idea is similar to what they did with the veterans, Vets Helping Vets. They have a
Right.
new facility down by the library,
Right.
and they have a shower for homeless veterans.
Veterans,
So
yes.
you have to be a veteran,
Yes.
Right.
but it's a place to at least clean up,
Right.
You know? And
That's why I'm grateful for the Salvation Army. We should all be grateful for Salvation Army, the ones
Yeah,
that really need it.
yeah.
Because there's nowhere else to go. Either that or Tuscaloosa Lake.
Yeah.
But, and it's sad. But it's sad.
I would never clean myself in Tuscaloosa.
But that's the closest one where they can
Yeah?
go to. There's no other choice.
Does the lifebuoy lather up in there? I don't know.
That's what we got to see. That's what we got to see, and give that love to help people, because
You have sleeping bags and workable bicycles on
Yes.
your list too.
That's what we're asking for.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
That if it's
okay,
possible that we
okay.
could get, because we would like to help them. Like a lot of the men, they do go look for work, and they need transportation to get to where they have to go. So even if it's just to
Yeah, so let's finish this interview with what we can do to help you.
Yeah.
So bicycles and cash. I'm sure cash is always handy.
Yeah, we do
right?
monetary donations, and we're affiliated with Spirits of Flame, which is a 501c3 corporation, so it's tax deductible if you do give monetarily also, which helps us out. Or if you just want to donate clothing or hygiene products, you can just bring them to the nursery, bring them to Dr. Orders. I'm sure they could even bring them to WOCA.
Yeah.
And you guys would get them to us also.
Yeah.
So.
I'll bring you the kilts, okay?
Okay.
You also ask for cases of bottled water.
Yes. Yeah, we give out bottled water also.
Oh, during the event?
Yes.
During the
Yeah.
lunch event?
Yep, we sure do.
And when the parents come with their children, I know it's on a Saturday, do you ask the children if they're of school age, if they attend school, and if they don't, do you try to put them in that direction?
Yeah, we've talked to some about that. We've got a lady that just retired, worked for this with the school, and she talks to them, and we find out information about that also to help them.
And then I personally speak to them about if they need clothing.
Right.
Because for kids that, and I thank God that they gave me a source where I could go get some
Yeah,
to provide
children's
for
clothing.
babies
Wonderful.
up to 9, 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
That I could get any type of things for them. So I've been doing that, and I had a couple of them that I just took some Pampers to them. A big bulk of Pampers, and they're very grateful for what I'm doing because and baby wipes and because it's not everybody. It's not just only for the homeless. Everybody, we're trying to help everybody in need. That's family that needs it and all that. So veterans, the same.
Yeah. I think I said this to you guys before, but when you die and you go to heaven and you say, "Okay, can I be an angel now?" God's going to say, "I don't know. Do you have any experience?" Yeah. So you're going to say, "Yeah, I got some."
And Hal, what keeps you coming back every time to volunteer?
Oh, the serving, putting yourself aside on behalf of someone else is always so rewarding. And when you invest yourself in someone that has a need, like a homeless person, the reward is what you receive on the inside. The gratitude in your heart for the opportunity to serve and to share and to make someone else's life a little better. And that's always very rewarding to me personally.
And I think the spiritual food you give them is probably the thing that gets them out of that circumstance.
You're not going to reach everybody. It's only a small percentage. But those that you do reach are certainly worth the investment.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Gosh. I mean, I'm sure just if you ever hear back from even just one of them, you'll feel like, well, your work has been worth it, right?
Just seeing the change of life,
Yes.
that they trying and seeing, and you could actually see they change. It's really amazing, It's just like, I cry. I'm a bucket of water. I'm sorry.
I know you are. I know. I'm being careful what I say to you. I don't want you to cry.
I'm very sensitive. I cry, but it's because of the love and that I see that it's, what we're trying to do, that
You've
we are
been through it.
touching and we're
Sure.
touching people.
Yeah, I know. You're a breathing example of what can happen with a little bit of faith and some work.
Just a little bit.
Did you do you guys have a place to sit when you give them food, or do they take it and go sit on a curb? How do they actually eat the food?
They just it's sad because they've been trying to stop this feeding, not for us, for the other feeding that goes on during the week, because they do eat and then they trash the place and whatever, but I'm so grateful that when we do it, I have people that make sure that they clean up, that we don't leave nothing behind, that we won't get attacked. We pray about all kind of interruptions and whatever.
Oh my
And
gosh.
we've been successful, and thank God that nobody has really bothered us. And we had an officer pull up on one time, but then when he saw, and then he actually saw who it was and how it was going, and I knew the officer, so it was great that he just
Well,
left
can't the city police be part of this? I mean, can't they just assign somebody there?
It's, like I said, we've been having this problem with the homeless for years going on in Ocala. So, I know I'm not going to change anything. So I'm just trying to help and feed them and try to make them so they could change their life and they will have the next step where they could move on and don't be in that situation, because I don't want a ministry that will be a ministry that people are gonna, that they come in to get their freedom, and then they get they pull them over, and they ain't got no IDs, or they wind up going to jail. I don't want it to be a jail ministry, because that's what it turns out to be eventually in the long run.
And the jail ministries are good too. Do you know when we hear from people who are what do you call them again, Robin? They go overseas, missionaries, right?
Right.
Okay, and they're doing great work far away places, and then somebody will say, "Well, that's great. Why don't we do work here? There's kids in Appalachia," and then but there's kids right here in Ocala.
Yeah.
You don't even have to leave town to help out people, right?
That's right.
I think you're showing us that.
See, because when we feeding them, and I personally talk to all of them just about as they go by, and I ask them, "Do you have ID? You have ID? You have anything personal?" Because that's what's going to put you back into the jailhouse if you don't have it. So I try to always, because I know where I could send them so they could get that, within a couple of days, and they could be out of that situation, because when I was homeless, I was scared because I was walk the street, and I didn't look homeless, but they still asked me, because they see me all the time, the same routine or whatever. They would come and ask me if I had ID, if I have, So I would thank God that I did. So I always kept that in my heart.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
So if you don't have ID, you get arrested?
I don't want to say yes and no.
Vagrancy, right?
But, you read my lips.
Bob Wines, you are an amazing silent guy over there, and thank you for what you do, because it's under the Bob Wines umbrella that you're able to do all of this, right? Lori Williams, good to see you. Mr. George, whose last name I always forget, good to see you.
Yes, sir.
And Hal Nichols, thank you for what you
Thanks
all
for
are
having
doing.
us.
And for everybody else that wants to help, Lori, give them some contact information, phone number.
Phone number is 352-629-5766, and our address is 2610 Southeast 38th Street.
Yes.
Bob Wines Community Gardens.
And this will be a week from Saturday, June
Yes.
16th,
Yes.
beginning at 10:30.
10:30.
Yes.
All right. Hey, thank you for what you do.
Thank
and
you
for
so much.
inspiring the rest of us. Thank you.
Yes.
God bless.
We'll be right back.
Here is your 1-minute news brief from the source, WOCA. A 36-year-old Silver Springs man has been charged with murder after deputies discovered the body of a woman inside the trunk of his car. Ocala police have released body cam video after they saved a man from jumping off a bridge over I-75. The driver of a racing powerboat has died following a collision with another boat that also injured 3 other racers during an event in the St. Johns River during Saturday's Jacksonville Grand Prix of the Sea race. 7 people have been sentenced to prison terms after pleading guilty in Florida to orchestrating a variety of fraud scams that took in more than $7 million from victims across the United States. A Pinellas County man is facing several charges after police say he crashed a sport utility vehicle into 2 pedestrians, killing both of them. And Tonight Show host Jimmy Fallon was the surprise commencement speaker at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, where 17 people were killed in a shooting rampage on Valentine's Day. And that is your news brief from The Source.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Monday, partly sunny with a shower or thunderstorm in spots, mainly during the afternoon hours at the coast, the high 89 to 93. Partly cloudy Monday night with a shower or thunderstorm in spots early tonight along the coast, lows 70, inland 77 at the coast. For Tuesday, partly sunny with a shower or thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon near the coast, the high 90 to 94. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Attention WOCA listeners. Do you or someone you know have an outgoing personality with great organizational skills? Well, WOCA is looking for a few good people to join our marketing reps team. You get to meet other great people and business